Good morning, everyone. It is now 10 in the morning on Pet Simulator 99 World. This just in. Users are reporting a brand new nerf that has been made at 12 in the morning on this Tuesday morning. Users all across Pet Simulator 99 are reporting less drops are now showing up during their farming sessions. Heated arguments broke out in the middle of the night. This just in. All Gargantuans already have been created, leading to users to have to craft a Titanic now. Many others are reporting that this nerf was in place due to Sunday having a buff. Sunday buff does not mean Monday, Tuesday buff. A crew has been sent out this morning to go ahead and start combing the farms of Pet Simulator 99. What happened to my car? There's no way my video cut out like that. Yes, it is true, everybody. The Gargantuans are now at 0 officially. Though the counter for the Titanics itself do say 1,947, though I have been seeing this number be the same for quite some time now, so I don't know if there's like some sort of like issue or if it's actually at that number. Not 100% sure. You guys can correct me down in the comments because I've been paying attention on and off on this whole thing. Don't get me wrong when I say this, and I mean this with absolute love. I absolutely do like the combined nomadic, though I could see some problems with it, especially with the community side of things. A lot of players like to use the term, the rich only get richer with this. Now, obviously, people can buy their way to get the Gargantuan, whether buying dust or the huges. By doing so, obviously, these counters will go down very fast, usually within 2 to 3 days, if that. Once something with great value has diminished, the value for everything else will drastically drop. But around 12 in the morning today, a new patch was created for farming quests. On the right side, you're going to notice a brand new UI system which has been recently added. But with that, of course, people started to notice a drastic change on how many items players were getting. Now, I decided to go ahead and record around 5 hours and 26 minutes of pure grinding. And this also includes just kind of like farming the shop, going to my booth, going back and forth. And I'm gonna have to compare that to what I believe I used to be able to get the other day before the nerf was done. Be really hard to keep track of just because of the fact that I'm not entirely sure how much I used to get precisely versus what I'm pretty much getting now. But this gives players a stepping stone of understanding what they have to do now versus the video that I had uploaded the other day, because now we're definitely having to redo an entirely new method on getting more dust, gems, shards, whatever it is you believe you might need to get this stuff gone ASAP. Remember, the closer that the Titanic is down to 0, the more people are going to panic sell. For myself specifically, I know that I'm not able to get the Titanic, so obviously this is going to be one of those things where I'm gonna have to utilize everything as much as possible to make the most gems. I physically only have 145 million gems, so I gotta grind and grind and grind in order to get more gems. So let's go ahead and get started. So with it being Tuesday officially, I would hope that you guys have as many pets as possible on your farm. And not only just pets, but pets that can actually go ahead and pick up items, such as dust, shards, or gems. Now, it is extremely difficult to get a pet that purely picks up gem shards by themselves. And what I mean by that are these right here specifically. The pixel shard itself is a little bit more forgiving, and obviously the most common one being the dust, but getting the gem itself is extremely difficult. If you do have a pet that ends up giving you a gem, congratulations, you have something very hard to get. But I know what you guys are thinking. How in the world are you supposed to get this stuff if it's not showing up in the shop? What I ended up doing personally myself overnight for this is actually just setting up tiny tasks for this. This lasted for about 5 hours and 26 minutes. Basically what you do is you set your farm to basically set like this. Obviously you do not want to go ahead and move anywhere else, you just want to stay here. Your tiny task is going to go ahead and click farm, then to eggs. You're just going to walk in, you're going to actually manually scroll to the eggs that you want to go ahead and purchase. For myself, I set it to wolf, tiger, griffin, yeti, the demon, the agony, and the angelus. Once it's done, I have to actually go and move it up and do do not use your scroll wheel, it will not register. You need to actually physically move it up and down yourself. Afterwards, once it's done, I will hit farm, move back, and then hit the storage area, and then afterwards hit claim. Afterwards, I will hit farm, and that is literally the hotkey for everything. It's gonna go ahead and do it by itself. So we're gonna go ahead and test this out real quick. So it's obviously gonna go ahead and do eggs. It's gonna go to eggs. It's gonna go down by itself. It's gonna buy the wolf, the tiger, the yeti, the griffin, move down again to the agony, then the demon, and then the angelus. Then obviously it's gonna go up, then it's gonna go to farm, and then rinse and repeat this entire process as it should. And this should be absolutely fine when it comes to just grinding this out. Now, I was a little hesitant on sleeping overnight with this because I didn't know if something would happen with the camera, because I did notice the camera does move a little bit, and if it just so happens to do that, you can actually just hit the farm button until your camera is actually in focus to where it needs to be, which is the middle section. And this will just obviously help you guys out, just buy out as much eggs as humanly possible that the game allows you, so long as you have the coins for it. If you don't have enough coins for this, what I really recommend is buying every single egg that you can buy currently, whether it's the basic or the rares, let them grow, and then sell them. Once you have enough coins, I would say like maybe at least 50 million or more, then you could safely grind this for a few hours and you'll be absolutely fine. And over the span of the 5 hours and 26 minutes, I went from I want to say 126 million coins to now 87 million, so you'll be absolutely fine. But let's talk about pets now. By this time, you guys should absolutely have as many pets as possible for yourself that at least give you dust or shards. And just a bit of a recap on everything, every single pet can give you dust. It is a very rare chance to get it, but they can drop dust. For pigs, I ended up spamming a ton of eggs. Obviously, I have a ton of griffins, a ton of tigers, and a ton of wolves right now. This rabbit as well also gives me dust too. I do notice that there's a drastic valuation for the percentage rate drops for certain pets. Now, I'm not sure if this is completely randomized or if this is based off of just in general, the rarer the pet, the more likely the percentage is going to go up for these, but I do know if you guys spam the heck out of these, you will eventually get some pets that do drop dust. And whether it's dust or shards, either one, it absolutely helps in the long run, especially after now. And if you do want to raise those chances of absolutely getting anything, you need to feed your pets. If you do not feed your pets, that level is not going to go up higher, and the higher that level is, the timer goes down. So instead of waiting 400 seconds for maybe a 1% chance, now I get to wait 288 seconds. All of this adds up over time, especially if you have a ton of pets that do drop these kinds of items. And that is the only way that we're able to combat what is currently going on. At the end of the day, we did have to start slow, but we moved a little too fast, and now it's slowing down again. So the strategy that everybody has to focus on is getting pets that drop as much items as possible. Now, the reason why I have pets here that do drop food is that 1% chance over 36 seconds is not that big of a deal for me, because every 6 hours I can go ahead and feed my pet. If I were to feed my pet, all I have to really do is feed it maybe 2 corns, maybe even 3, and it'll be fine. I unironically do have pets that do drop potatoes, which is why this one is a little bit more dominant than the carrots, because every 35 seconds it's gonna drop one maybe by 2% and I'll be fine. Obviously I'm stacked on potatoes for the rest of my life, but this allows me to just kind of not worry about actually focusing on the supply shop, which I know everybody's probably freaking out over. They can't buy a potato or they can't buy corn. Utilize your pets as much as you can. Have a few of them that actually just drop food in general. And whether you're at school or work or even at home doing whatever it is you want to go ahead and do, you don't have to necessarily worry about your pets all that much other than just grinding for food. For myself right now, I do have to go through all of the pets that I ended up plotting overnight, and I have to check to see what they end up dropping. So this guy drops a potato, which is fine because eventually I'm gonna go ahead and get more, obviously, but a potato. Got a potato picker. All right, so this one drops a shard. So every 300 seconds, it does have a 0.5%. Now let's put this in perspective, okay? Now, I know everybody's probably gonna be upset over this, and I do have to clarify some stuff because because we have to think about it in the long run, right? So for every 300 seconds, this drops at a 0.5%. If we're looking at the spectrum of like 100%, that's a very, very, very low chance of even getting it to drop. This means that it is a 1 out of 200 chance of dropping within the time frame, meaning that RNG has to be good, right? And this is where the dependency of your pets do have to kick in. The more that you have to drop anything important, the more likely that you're gonna end up getting it over time. Now, because of the increase that we had on Sunday, of course, everybody saw a ginormous amount of shards, gems, and dust. But because all of that was, obviously fixed, now we're noticing it not dropping as often. So the best way that we can all combat this, including myself, is to try to get as many pets as possible that end up dropping this over time. And obviously, this is primarily the reason why we notice all of the Gargantuans are gone. Whether people ended up buying the shards or the huges, the game still allowed absolutely all of them to be farmed within that time period, all the way up until Tuesday morning. So the only thing that we really have left now are the Titanics. Whether you choose to craft the Titanic or just sell absolutely every single little thing that you end up getting to get the maximum amount of gems that you could still get is up to you. Though I do have some advice. I know myself, I'm not going to be able to craft this Titanic. I have to figure out whether or not it is smart for me to sell the dust or the shards or the gems. And this includes converting the huges as a whole. So obviously, do what you think is best for yourself, especially if you're going to do this for gems. You have until Saturday morning to basically figure this out. And we have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and a little bit of Saturday. So we'll say 3 days. You guys have 3 days to figure this out. My only advice again is farm the eggs as much as you can. Then obviously leave the game as it is. And when you're ready to sell all the stuff that you have basically farmed, sell it ASAP before it goes down in wrap. The quicker this Titanic goes down in numbers, the less likely your stuff is going to sell for the price that you want to go ahead and sell it for. Utilize everything that the game is currently giving you before it's too late. And as always, I appreciate you guys coming to the video. Whether you like this event or not, liking the video does help me out in the algorithm, come out with more content like this for you guys. I really appreciate it. Until then, I will see you guys all in the next video. This is probably going to be my last video on this specific event, just mainly because we've already gone through absolutely everything we could with this, and officially now the final method for everybody, which is kind of obvious, but still. I will see you guys all later. I do have some other videos that I'm currently editing that are not related to this event, so I will have different videos on obviously the game other than just this event. Okay, bye.
passing by Neptune in Uranus. Little baby alien in outer space. Little baby alien in outer space. Being pulled in by the gravitational pull, baby. Somebody's calling an SOS, but I don't care because I'm an alien in outer space. little baby in outer space.